So the better part of Valor is, I think Shakespeare's oft-quoted character got it wrong, and I think we need to get it right. Stick with me and I'll show you what I mean. So a number of years ago, in the wake of a relationship that taught me all kinds of things about myself that were not pleasant, I sat down to write a list of qualities. Not qualities of the ideal hypothetical spouse, but rather the qualities that I needed to have in order to be the ideal spouse. Side note, one of the smartest things I've ever done. Try it sometime. Maybe I'll share the whole list sometime if anyone's interested, but I wanted to share just the first point today. The first thing that I stuck on that list, this list of things that I must be, was humble. And I defined humble as soft answers, open spirit, no cold war, speaking only the good about others, burying others' mistakes, etc. And I made this number one because I am convinced, that in fact, the better part of valor is not discretion, as Shakespeare's hypothetical character once said, but rather humility. And why do I think that? Because of all the best things in life and relationship, covenant, connection, communion, commitment, trust, intimacy, vulnerability, for all of those, humility is a prerequisite. Throw pride or a sense of personal supremacy into the mix with any of those things I just mentioned, and they instantly turn from being glory into gall. Ask anyone who's ever tried to combine them before, if you haven't. So pride is a problem, and the biggest problem about it is that it blinds us to its own presence. So this week I sat down to ask myself and a couple of those closest to me, where is this pride I cannot see, and how can I not just see, but be free? My conclusion surprised me. But first, let's make sure we're talking about the same thing. What is pride? Is there a good kind of pride? Is pride always destructive? Let me give you a scenario. Say I build something awesome and I get a compliment. And in my mind, I think I am the biggest shot since Hitler's Gustav railroad cannon. Go look it up. Yeah, Hitler's Gustav railroad gun. Pretty big shot. Obviously pride, right? So how to deal with that? We were talking in church last weekend, and this question came up, and the initial consensus was that to respond in humility is to deflect praise. So to give the credit to somebody else. Oh, so and so helped me with that, or even something like praise the Lord, He gave me the ability. Which that's great. Okay, it's a lot greater than saying, oh, I know I am definitely the greatest of all time. But is pride a set of actions, or is it a state of mind? And if it's a state of mind, do I change anything? Do I fix anything by just changing the external actions or the external words? So back to this hypothetical glorious thing that I built. I get the compliment. I'm thinking in my mind, I am the biggest shot since Hitler's railroad gun, but I'm not going to say that because that's not cool, right? So what do I say instead? Usually something more along the lines of, oh, yeah, bro. Oh, yeah, thanks. It's nothing really. It's just kind of a slapdash thing I threw together. I want to make a kind of a nicer one at some point. Okay. Humility, false humility, which is kind of the same thing as pride, maybe. Here's my conclusion. Words don't make me suddenly humble. Deflecting praise may or may not change anything in my heart if I think in my heart that I am really quite deserving of that over-the-top compliment. I would assert that the solution is more than acting humble. The solution is the truth. And here's what I mean by that. Pride always starts with a belief. And 9 times out of 10, or maybe 99 times out of 100, it's a lie. It's a mistaken belief. For example, I am the greatest of all time. No, actually not true, more than likely. You might have the most points of anyone in the history of the game, or you might have the most gold medals of anyone in the history of the Olympics. And yet those things only represent the tiniest little slice of all that makes you you. And besides that, there is someone on this green earth who would probably be better than you, faster than you, have more medals than you, if he'd had all the same, he or she had all the same opportunities that you did. So no, I'm just going to say it. Probably not true. But okay, you're thinking, oh, mine never goes there. Yeah, but you know what? The opposite is also true. For example, I am the world's biggest loser. Crickets chirping. No, actually, probably not. Number one, according to who are you the world's biggest loser? And number two, even if you were the world's biggest loser in the eyes of some benevolent authority that actually had the grounds to make that declaration, there's probably someone out there who's the same or worse than you. Nevertheless, believing that reality changes the way that I relate to the whole world around. Believing either of those realities changes the way that I relate to the world around me, and I'm wondering if that's not the root. Here's my point. Either one of those extremes can put on a very good front while still believing the lie that drives either the pride or the sympathy seeking or the, abject self-talk or whatever it might be. And the solution is not just a pretty phrase. The solution is quit believing the lie. The opposite of pride is humility, but the antidote for pride may well be truth. Which begs the question, what is the truth? The truth is, I'm a son of the King, and I'm also a broken vessel. The truth is, I am priceless, as evidenced by the price that was paid for me. And the other truth is, I'm not worth more than you because you're priceless too, and priceless is not worth more or less than priceless. The truth is, I have skills, and there is satisfaction in using them to create beautiful things. And the other truth is, I have many weaknesses which call for rigorous energy and commitment to overcome. And the truth behind both of those things is that I can acknowledge my skills, that is, take pride in my work, without allowing those skills to make me believe I'm worthy of worship. And on the flip side, I can acknowledge my weaknesses without concluding that I am a lost case. Do you see what I mean? I have a pride problem, or an insecurity problem, or whatever, fill in the blank, because I have a truth problem. So rather than chase down external, humble-sounding niceties about myself, maybe I need to learn and embrace the truth about myself. That is, what God thinks about myself. I want to see me as God sees me, beautiful, beloved, and broken. And I think if I do, that will change everything. What do you think? You tell me. Tell me in the comments below. If you're interested in seeing 10 things that I determined before I got married I must be, let me know that in the comments too. And as always, like, subscribe, share. And until next time, for the roar of the lion and the love of the lamb, I'm Sean Neblett, and this is The Lion and His Men.